Welcome to Universe Beyond. I am the guide for this infinite journey. Tonight, we delve into the unseen stories, woven into the very fabric of time and space. The silence of the cosmos is not merely the absence of sound, but a heavy, tactile weight that presses against the soul of every traveler who dares to leave the protective embrace of our blue sanctuary. We stand at the precipice of a new epoch, where the echoes of the past harmonize with the technological symphony of the present to propel four brave souls toward the silver sentinel of our night sky. The Artemis 2 mission is not just a voyage of metal and fuel, but a profound expression of the human spirit's refusal to remain tethered to the cradle of its birth. As the Orion spacecraft sheds the final layers of Earth's atmosphere, the blue marble beneath it begins to shrink, revealing the terrifying and beautiful isolation of our home in the vast, cold ocean of the void. Gravity, that invisible tether that has defined every moment of human evolution, begins to yield its absolute grip, replaced by the surreal ballet of microgravity, where every movement is a slow, deliberate conversation with physics. Looking back, the horizon of Earth curves with a grace that defies description, a thin veil of atmosphere shimmering, like a sapphire halo against the obsidian darkness of the absolute vacuum. The historical resonance of the Apollo era hangs in the cabin like a ghost, a memory of a time when we first reached out to touch the celestial, now rekindled by a generation that looks not just to visit, but to stay. 50 years have passed since human eyes last gazed upon the rugged, desolate splendor of the lunar surface from such proximity, a half-century of longing reflected in the cold light of the stars. The journey across the translunar gulf is a passage through a desert of radiation and shadow, where the sun's unshielded rays strike the hull with the silent intensity of 1,000 burning fires. Every bolt, every circuit, and every line of code within the spacecraft stands as a testament to the collective genius of a species that learned to dream in mathematics and build in titanium. The astronauts feel the hum of the life support systems, a mechanical heartbeat that provides the thin, precious margin between the warmth of life and the cryogenic stillness of the exterior. As they approach the lunar sphere, the moon transforms from a flat, glowing disk into a three-dimensional world of staggering complexity and ancient, violent history. The gravitational pull of the moon begins to assert itself, a subtle, but firm invitation to dance with a world that has never known the rustle of a leaf, or the falling of a raindrop. They cross the Terminator line, where the harsh brilliance of the lunar day meets the absolute, soul-consuming darkness of the lunar night, creating shadows that stretch like long, skeletal fingers across the craters. Then, the moment of profound transition arrives, as the spacecraft glides over the lunar limb, and begins its journey behind the massive body of the moon itself. The Earth, that constant companion and source of every breath ever taken, slowly sinks behind the jagged horizon of the lunar highlands, until it vanishes entirely. In this instant, the crew enters the zone of total radio silence, a state of communication blackout where they are truly alone, separated from the rest of humanity by 3,000 kilometers of solid rock. The far side of the moon, a landscape hidden from terrestrial eyes since the dawn of time, reveals itself in the dim, reflected glow of the distant stars, and the subtle luminescence of the cosmic background. Unlike the familiar face of the moon with its smooth, dark maria, the far side is a chaotic wilderness of impact craters, a battered shield that has protected Earth from the celestial bombardment for eons. The Aitken Basin looms below, a massive, ancient scar on the lunar crust, that speaks of a time when the solar system was a violent gallery of colliding worlds. The regolith, a fine, gray powder born from billions of years of meteoric grinding, clings to the slopes of mountains that have never felt the erosion of wind or water. The silence here is absolute, a vacuum, so perfect that it seems to vibrate with the weight of the billions of years that have passed since these rocks first solidified from a molten sea. The crew stares out of the reinforced windows, their pupils dilating to capture the faint details of a world that is both alien and deeply connected to our own planetary origin. They see the craters of Tsiolkovsky and Mendeleev, vast amphitheaters of stone, where the shadows are so deep, they seem like holes torn into the very fabric of reality. The absence of the Earth creates a psychological void, a feeling of being an orphan of the stars, cast out into the deep dark, with nothing but the ticking of the clock and the breath in their lungs. There is a poetic irony in the fact that to see the most hidden parts of our neighbor, we must first lose sight of our home, embracing the darkness to find the light of discovery. The orbital mechanics of the free return trajectory dictate their path, a precise mathematical curve that uses the moon's own gravity to sling them back toward the distant, invisible Earth. Every second in the shadow of the moon is a meditation on the scale of existence, a realization that our entire history is but a flicker of light against the eternal backdrop of the lunar night. The temperature outside the hull drops to levels that would freeze the very air. We breathe into solid crystals, yet inside, the flickering lights of the console provide a fragile, technological warmth. As the spacecraft continues its arc, the first sliver of sunlight begins to peek over the lunar horizon, a sharp, crystalline brilliance that cuts through the darkness like a diamond blade. Then, the most magnificent sight in the known universe begins to unfold: the Earthrise. As our blue and white home slowly ascends from the lunar horizon, it is a fragile marble of life suspended in a terrifyingly vast graveyard of stars, a reminder that everything we love, everything we know, and everything we are exists on that tiny, shimmering dot. The return of the radio signal is a sudden burst of human voices, a bridge of electromagnetic waves that spans the distance, and brings the comfort of connection back to the lonely travelers. The far side of the moon is no longer a mystery to them, but a memory etched into their consciousness, a physical experience of the sublime that will change the way they view the night sky forever. They carry with them the data of 1,000 sensors, but more importantly, they carry the awe of a species that has finally returned to the deep frontier of its cosmic neighborhood. The journey home is a long, contemplative descent, as the gravity of Earth begins to reclaim its children, pulling them back toward the atmosphere that will soon burn with the friction of their re-entry. The heat shield will endure temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun, a final ordeal of fire before the gentle splashdown. In the Pacific waters that birthed life on our planet, the Artemis II mission is the herald of the Artemis III landing, a stepping stone to the lunar South Pole, where ice hides in the eternal shadows, waiting to be turned into the fuel for our journey to Mars. We are no longer just observers of the heavens. We are becoming inhabitants of the solar system, expanding our reach one crater, one orbit, and one heartbeat at a time. The far side of the moon has been witnessed, its secrets whispered to the four who pass through its shadow, and through them, to all of us who look up and wonder. The legacy of this journey will be written in the dust of the moon, and the dreams of children who will one day walk where these pioneers could only watch from above. As we reflect on this monumental achievement, we realize that the greatest discovery was not the rocks or the craters, but the reflection of our own resilience in the face of the infinite. The moon remains there, a silent witness to our progress, no longer a distant deity but a frontier, a laboratory, and a gateway to the stars that lie beyond. The darkness of the far side has been illuminated by human curiosity, proving once again that there is no shadow so deep that the light of knowledge cannot eventually find its way through. We leave the lunar orbit with a sense of profound gratitude, knowing that we have touched the edge of the eternal, and return to tell the story of what lies in the hidden places of the sky. The journey of Artemis is the journey of us all, a collective leap into the unknown, fueled by the desire to understand our place in the magnificent, terrifying, and beautiful clockwork of the universe. Thank you for watching until the very end. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you for watching this channel.